Yeah. Oh, I mean,
I just heard that from the other. Hi guys, don't worry, you can't see us, but Dom's getting very excited. I might put us on the screen now. I suppose. I suppose you'd all like to see us. Here we go. There we go. We're there. We're live. It's episode 69.
ooh, meal for two, episode 69.
Oh, good evening, everyone. I hope everyone is doing well. It is lovely to speak to you all again. As usual, I'm Tom, and this is my bestest friend Dominic over here.
Hello.
Also, my best man for the wedding. I don't know if you realised, anyone, but I got married on Sunday. And my lovely wife is watching the stream at the moment. So, hello, Vicky.
Yeah, it was a very, very nice day. I am going to thumbs up our thing even before we've started because I'm that confident.
Oh,
it's
well,
gonna go.
I mean, why not? I mean, the likes should flow in today. I mean,
Yeah, here we go. Here come the like.
69 dude air guitar. Yes!
Yeah, exactly.
The best number for multiple reasons, but we won't go into that too much detail because it's a family show, isn't it?
It is a family show. Well, technically, Tom, we are family now, so
We
it is a
are.
family
Yeah,
show.
this is now my brother-in-law.
Yeah, hello. Anyway, let's instead of snoozing, guys, welcome to episode 69.
Yeah.
Dom and Tom, that's it, talking hobby. So those who are new to the series, basically, we just sit here, do some hobby, and chat about things. And hopefully, you're also doing the same as us.
Yes.
So, Tom, without further ado, what are you working on tonight?
I've got some things.
Ooh, tell us more. Oh, he looks angry.
He does. He's very nice. I didn't even base coat him in red because I have a colour scheme I'm following. Which needed to be based in black. However, this chap wouldn't be anything he was if he didn't have his little protectors, which is also some blood letters.
Oh, very nice.
Because I'm using a very similar colour scheme on the skin, I am going to be basically just doing a batch paint of all 10 of those, and obviously this chap here. That is currently what I'm working on. So I'll be basically basing this all in corn red, and then once it's based nicely, I'll be then washing it in non-oil.
Very nice, Thomas.
That is what I'm hopefully going to achieve tonight, but we'll see how we go. What about yourself?
I am working on my Mauler fiend.
Cheers, everyone.
So I'm just on the neck bit at the moment. The rest of it's done. I was about to start the next step, and then I realised I hadn't actually done this bit, so I've got to do this bit tonight, which is fine, fair enough. And I'm looking forward to do it. I'm pretty much there with the scarabs now.
Excellent.
Unfortunately, some of my paints have dried up, and the ones I need I've ordered, but I don't have at the moment, so hopefully they'll be arriving in the next couple of days. What is everybody in the chat working on tonight?
Hopefully what they're all on.
What are you all on? Hey, it's no, I'm not going into that. So what models are we working on, people? Oh,
this is for you, Dominic.
Nice. Well, hopefully you're
not
bobbing me off again.
Interesting story, by the way, for anyone who does order from Warhammer Art. I found out why this was late.
They had to do it by hand.
Well, that is actually true. They are all done to order, and it takes 7 days, which I did not realise. It wasn't particularly clear in the small print. However, when it was pointed out, my 2 weeks I left for ordering it was apparently not enough.
Oh, I see.
So,
I see.
Just for a reference. Yes, it's here for you, Dom, and I'm hoping to come and give that to you as soon as I can. If not, I think we are meeting up on Saturday and Sunday. So
we are meeting up Saturday and Sunday.
Yeah, I'm not quite sure what we're doing on Sunday yet, but we'll work that one out.
Well, we can talk about what we're doing on Saturday in a little bit. So we've got someone doing some ogres, Mr. Blue. We've got some Death Shrouds by Daryl. Very nice, very nice. Wizardy stuff.
Wizardy stuff. Now, is that like
rabbits in hats, maybe?
Yes.
No hobby.
Then what says Mr. Holland is no hobby. He is setting up the board for a game against Dark Angel. Oh, very nice, Dave. You're getting your appropriate practice in. That is what I like to hear. Of which we need to get a practice game in probably, Dom. But I don't know when the hell we're going to do that before Saturday.
Yeah, it's a very good point.
I think it's not going to happen, I suspect, but we'll see how we go.
Now, hopefully I've got a game on Friday. Someone's coming over for a game on Friday, so hopefully that will go well.
Who's that?
friend James, he's bringing his necrons, so it could be a necron on
Ah,
necron game,
that'd
which
be
could be quite
interesting.
interesting. Could be like 12 turns later. Might be a decisive winner. But yeah, no. So some nice bit of hobby going on there, which is good. I smell heresy. Yeah, there's always a little bit of heresy going on.
Yeah, Heresy always kind of leaks into our
Heresy for
channels, but
men.
unfortunately, even though I am not a grand Heresist, that's what I'm going to call it, I am painting Chaos tonight, so I can't really not say that I'm not doing Heresy
Yeah.
tonight. Um, but
It
but
marks
yeah,
the
I mean, obviously
fall.
because of the Templar announcement, all of my Templars are now on hold until I see what the hell I'm going to be getting.
Yeah, the rumor is a new Hellbrick model, isn't it?
There has been some pictures of some leaked
Yeah.
images which show you the kind of the base of his artwork model, which is interesting.
Yes.
Which I think, well, it could be cool. I think from what I could gather, there was, I mean, obviously there's normally some people that aren't very happy about it as usual. Because I think some
Oh, is
people were
there?
complaining that there may be other models on a model that should be a kind of a singular, you know, warlord himself. But I'm like, the artwork's cool. I think if they have the servitors at his feet with the candles on their back, I think it would look very cool. To be fair, I'm not too fussed about that. I think
I would like to see what they do with the Horus Heresy stuff and essentially have like the model separate from the base. So you've got a display base and then you've got the
yes,
actual model like you've got for their
that
hero
would be cool.
series. And I think the Vindica Assassin on the Warhammer Plus stuff, I think that must be the same case. That
Yeah,
you've
well,
taken out of
that's the
the
one I picked, by the way, for me.
yeah.
And
And
yeah,
that's what I'd like to see. I think it'd be nice to add that little feature in there, especially for essentially what's going to be a smaller model,
mm.
because I reckon he's not going to be Primaris and he's just going to be a resculpt, which
Oh,
I
you
would
reckon,
be.
do you?
I don't think he's going to be Primaris. No.
Interesting.
Yeah, I think he's going to be upsized a bit, but I don't think he's going to be Primaris scale.
It'd be interesting because obviously Grimoldus is still nothing's heard about him. I think Grimoldus would be Primarisfied, I suspect, because he's so tough. I think he would survive the procedure.
Yeah, yeah.
I mean, he
It,
survived a church falling on him, so
that's quite
it's
quite.
quite
Tough.
an accolade to have, isn't it?
So, what
Hashtag
do people
survive
in the
church
chat
falling on me.
think? Do you think we're going to get a
Grimoldus,
new
Hellbrit, or both?
A new Hellbrick? Is it going to be Primarisified Hellbrick, or is he going to be just resized slightly?
I mean, obviously, speaking of resize, well, that question has been answered. I take it you saw the Horus Heresy resizing, with some of the models now being slightly upscaled for the Firstborn, which is an interesting decision. They've been increased in size, not hugely, but they're when you stack them next to a Primaris now, they're similar head height, but slightly more. I say gangly would be the better way of putting it, I suppose.
What the heresy stuff?
Yeah, the new Heresy models that they released recently. I think the Imperial Fist ones. Some of the stuff they've released recently showing.
The Praetors.
Yes, it was just showing a little bit more height, especially the Terminators are very much taller. They were very much on par with a Primaris Captain in Gravis armor, which is an
How do you feel
interesting.
about that?
I like it. I think it's a nice way to sort of. I wouldn't want them to go the same size as Primaris, but I think bringing them maybe more in line with what a Marine is regarded as. You know, that height. Actually, one of the reasons for that is not necessarily because I want them that way, but I think it makes the scaling the rest of the range a bit easier. So if you take a guardsman as an example, you can kind of maybe upscale them slightly, just a tiny bit, so you can have a bit more variation in their models.
Yeah.
Because obviously they're all very 25 mil friendly, I suppose. But it would be nice to sort of see because obviously guardsmen come from many different walks of life and the different sizes. Whereas at the moment they're very very regimented in their size, which is I think doesn't make any sense for a guardsman. Quite frankly, that humans come in all shapes and sizes.
Well, you got to think what they've got more. What's harder to get hold of? Cadian style battle armor. Cadia's gone now, or humans. They've got loads of them.
They got
They
lots of
could just
humans.
go.
Yeah,
You got to be over 5'10" and below
you
6'2",
feel like the
and
Stephen
you're
Rogers
very
effect.
fine. Yeah. You've got to be that size to join the Astra Militarum.
Well, things I'd love to see a Rattlings release as well. I think that'd be nice.
Yeah.
But let's have a look at what we've got going on in chat here. So Mr. Jack says, think he'll be Primaris-fied. Can't see any of the BT would object to being bigger and stronger. I mean, the fact is they've done. I mean, the Emperor's Champion's obviously been Primaris-fied,
Yep.
so it's hard to argue that particular standpoint, Jack. The only person that would object to being Primaris is Seth from the Flesh Tearers. Yeah, I think that's fair.
He's notoriously against Primaris. So yeah,
And
good
then,
point.
and they don't want any more mini Marines except for Terminators for game days models. I mean, fair enough. I mean, I think Marines are going to be in an interesting place by the end of the year. I think just from sizes, because there's going to be, I think there's going to be so many different versions of it. It's an interesting. I mean, actually, that's one of the things I find quite amusing about the whole thing. I was just bringing up obviously the the humans' size differences. But you take a Marine, they become. I think they should be much more standardized than than the human army. Human armies essentially, because obviously they all wear a set of armor, and I think they're less prone to being different sizes because they kind of grow into a particular size to fit the armor.
That's a valid point. However, there is mention in the Heresy books that some Marines are notoriously bigger than other Marines.
Of course.
But
you don't really see that represented, though, do you? That's the interesting thing.
So the point I was going to make earlier is I would quite like to see that you would have a character that, or the occasional Marine in a squad, like the sergeant or the heavy weapon that's just slightly bigger than the others. I don't think they all have to be exactly the same size. I'd quite like a bit of
maybe that's what's going to happen to Chaos.
Well, they do get possessed quite often. However, my argument also about Hellbrick remaining the same, just getting upsized, isn't the Grey Knight character model that's been released? He's not Primaris, is he?
Mr. Crow. I don't think he was. I think he was just upscaled. I think you're correct.
Yeah. So
I might be wrong. So and hello Azrael, by the way, welcome. And apparently, according to Daniel Alstrom, sorry if I got your name wrong. There is a law of a very fat space wolf. I mean, I don't know. I don't know if Marines can get fat because the metabolism's too much. I mean, he'd have to be eating a lot of food.
Yeah.
I mean, if I was to pick any chapter that might overeat, I think Space Wolves would be up there because it's mainly the drinking, I suspect. And then Jack says, haven't they just re-released a Horus Heresy campaign? But yes, they have just done a Horus Heresy campaign. Gut saying that the first Gem Marines will find life in. Yes, I think they have. I must admit, actually, I downloaded the pack. I haven't had a chance to read through one of them because they are free from what I can see. But that is actually what I always envisaged Horus Heresy to be: is replays of very fantastic battles that happened back in that era. And it's nice that they're starting to maybe make that a bit more mainstream for that particular game mode.
And there you go. Mr. Blue there is a very good point about the Alpha Legion there. So Alfarius and his twin.
Very well.
Spoiler alert. Were notoriously smaller than other Primarchs, and so the Legionnaires kind of upped their size, and a lot of them took surgery to look more like their Primarch, just so he could blend in and merge in with the ranks. Which, I think that's an excellent little touch there.
Which one of their Primarchs?
Well, who knows? Who knows? Sanguinius.
It's out the bag. It's out the bag. You heard it here first, guys. Breaking news. Sanguinius is actually from the Alpha Legion.
Yeah, exactly. But no, I'm interested to see. I would love to see that Hellbrick remains as a normal Marine.
I mean,
I don't think he needs to be Primarisized, does he? Really? He's pretty tough as it is.
Well, I mean,
I
didn't he lose his hands recently?
Yeah. Just give him bionic hands. Really big claws.
That's Calgar, though, isn't it? Like Calgar.
Yeah, exactly.
Far too codexy.
Do you want to be like Calgar? What would Calgar do?
Would that fit on the knuckles and a tattoo? I don't.
Yeah. Well, it's bionic. You could have more letters put in, couldn't you? More fingers. What would Calgar do? I really don't know.
Read the codex.
Yeah.
No, that's but yeah, I think we're going through some interesting times. I mean, there's lots of speculation at the moment anyway, because because of the Horus Heresy releases and things like that, were looking quite different from obviously with the introduction of what looks like a new plastic Spartan, and some of the models looking slightly different than what they've normally been doing, which is nice. But ultimately, me and Dom don't play Horus Heresy, so
no. And obviously, it's a lot of it's to try and get people to play Horus Heresy because it's had a massive hit the last few years, and there's no reason that the idea behind it, the lore, the models, all fantastic. Rule set, a little bit annoyed that you've got to learn something else. But then again, you could say that about Kill Team or Titanicus or Necromunda. You've got to learn something else, haven't you, to play it? So
I think actually,
really
obviously we've had our kind of discussions about this in the past where we don't want to play 7th edition anymore, basically, which is that's kind of our choice. But now I had to accept that some people like that edition, and actually, if there was any game setting / type that would suit it, it is the Horus Heresy section, because of all the you're playing typically marine on marine, so it does even the field quite dramatically in that particular respect. So yeah, I guess we'll wait and see, won't we? Really. What else got going here? Ragnar Blackmane also lost one of his arms when he battled Gazgul. Very true. The only mini Marines models they produced after Primus having been Terminator arm models for special. Yep, I think you are possibly correct about that. I can't think of any other mini Marines.
Except for the Grey Knight one.
Oh yes, sorry, that one.
Well, and maybe there have been more, so I don't know. We'll have to really think about it. The Space Marines, unfortunately, aren't really something I'll keep my eye on.
I'll tell you what other interesting thing is happened today. Vicky was feeling particularly generous today, and she picked me up something.
Oh, that's nice. What models do you get with that?
So the first one, you get a one of the Blade Guard veteran lieutenants,
Very
and
nice.
I think it's that Necron. Is it the Royal guy? Royal Warden. Yes, the Royal Warden.
Cool.
So, and Vicky seems to be interested in collecting some of these.
Oh, so, maybe Vicky's going to do Necrons.
Well,
soon.
we did. This did come up in discussion. I guess we'll see. I mean, she hasn't even finished her World Eaters yet, but let's she just shouted at me.
Yeah, very cool. I think Necrons are a good pick for people.
I think they're a solid army for just, especially learning the game. Actually, I think, and that's probably why they're in the starters, this conquest set. So, it's fairly, everything's very defined in their army in use and how it, and how it plays. Whereas I'd say, I mean, Space Marines are to a certain level as well, but I feel a lot of the Space Marine models have multi-purpose use, which I think has always been their kind of thing, I suppose. It's depending on obviously just depending on what chapter you end up playing, but yeah, ultimately.
So I think in a bit we've got to go through the painting entries.
Yes, I mean
we had a week of votes, which has been quite cool. It's been nice to watch out.
And I think maybe should we stick with the top 3? Do you think?
Let's stick with the top 3. We'll go through which ones we've entered, shall we?
Oh, of course. Yeah, I mean we could do that now if you want.
Yeah.
Well, before we start.
Well, I was just going to talk about Warhammer Plus very quickly.
Go for it. Yeah, go for it.
So I was thinking the other day in my thinking room, aka the toilets, that Warhammer Plus. I've obviously been quite vocal about my speculations on.
I think we both have, to be fair. I think we've both had a bit of a.
However, I was thinking, and this isn't necessarily based on any particular thing that I've seen or read, that I started collecting getting into the hobby at an early age. Anyway, I think I was like my first proper like Warhammer stuff was when I was about probably 11. And I remember when I was playing and collecting it, and over the years, like 11-year-old me, up until probably a few years ago, was like, why won't they do an animated series for Warhammer? And then suddenly, now this is a criticism of myself as well.
Yeah, okay.
There's an animated series.
I know where you're going, but
I am happy to like go, whoa, they're charging all this for it. This is ridiculous. And then part of me the other day was just like, why am I so angry about it? Like literally, like they're they've done something that younger me would love. and I'm being hypercritical of it. And I know, you know, they're not a perfect company, but geez, if I was like teenage me again, and
You'd
I
love it,
was
wouldn't you?
playing Blood Angels, for instance, and the faction I'm playing is in a series, wow, that'd be
Yeah.
amazing. I could, you know, how over the moon would I be if they suddenly did a Word Bearer series on Warhammer Plus? I'd be like, oh my goodness. So yeah, I'm changing my mind. I'm trying to be the a more half full
Well,
person.
yeah,
'Cause
as you
it's
know,
sweet.
I subscribe to it as well. So, and I think the only criticisms I have no criticism over the actual animation itself. It's more the I think the release schedule for something that I'm paying a certain amount of money for. I mean, I think this is, and obviously everyone, from my point of view, you have to compare a service like this to similarly priced services, if that's a fair thing to do. Would you say? So we're paying
Yes, yeah.
$4.99 for this, but you compare that to something like Netflix, which you're paying a very similar price to, and the amount of content you're getting on a weekly basis is a lot smaller. Obviously, I know this will change over time. I'm not saying that over time it will become a particularly good value service. However, and this is actually mainly down to, I mean, I don't know how, have you watched the Angels of Death stuff yet, Dom? I don't know if you've had a chance to.
Oh, I watched the first episode
Yes.
and I thoroughly enjoyed it. So
Yeah.
I have decided that I am not going to watch any more until more episodes come out because
Yeah.
I don't
Yeah.
want to be kind of going, oh, I've got to wait till Wednesday. So yeah, the first episode I really enjoyed. And then I'm like, right, I'm not going to watch any more until more come out, and then I'll carry on. I've watched all the Hammer and Bolter
Yeah.
ones. I like them because they're nice. It's just cool little standalone stories, which I enjoyed. I watched one of the painting guides, and earlier in my thinking room, I was watching how to play Warhammer 40,000. Um,
Which actually has been out already, by the way, I might add.
yeah. Well, to be fair, all the intros for the
Of
games have already
course.
been out as
Exactly.
well. They just got to cram it all in somewhere, haven't they? But I wouldn't say the point like to make is that we were already paying a very similar amount of money for a subpar app. And the
Yes.
reason I got Warhammer Plus was essentially for the app. Because I was like, it wasn't great to start with. It's cleared a lot of it up. And also there's some other stuff now as well. So I like to think of the other stuff as nice
Yeah.
bits.
I mean, the other interesting thing is I did notice, having had a look this recently, I'm just going to check it now, actually. I believe I have access to all the codexes now.
No, I don't think you do,
You
unless
sure?
you will have
I'm going to pick one
access
at
to.
random.
Yeah, you'll have access to the 8th edition, but if you start to try and access things on a 9th edition codex, you haven't got
Ah,
the
yes,
code,
you're right.
you're
It's
locked out
interesting
of it.
because it might have been because I was looking at a co-existing codex. I thought there
Yeah.
was some more information there, but it's not. No, so ignore me,
Yeah,
guys.
so for me, for a Chaos Space Marine codex, perfect, because we're not getting one for ages. I won't have to spend any money.
Just before we carry on rabbiting on about this, Lee says, I mentioned this in the other group, the other Warhammer Plus just isn't a streaming service. You're also paying for the apps arcade. Yes, that is very true. Event pandering. Yeah, I mean, I'm not going to deny that a little bit. Danny Ashton, well, the Army Builder apps are still out of date and a lot of errors, but they can have been repeated for ages. Tom, on Netflix previous episodes, I prefer weekly releases as if you binge more content now. Warhammer Plus is good. No, Captain Jack, I obviously this is a kind of I think it's a multi-sided point. I don't mind about waiting a week to watch a particular release. That's fine. I love doing that as well. However, what was I was building to my point was when you watch a episode which is about 18 minutes long, of which 2 minutes is normally taken up with the intro, which has been quite consistent. You're only getting about 16 minutes of content a week. Yeah, but that's true, isn't it?
No.
You can't
Right, so
yeah,
I'm not defending them.
yeah,
However, I want to put into context WandaVision. How long was an
yeah.
episode of WandaVision, and
How,
how long were the credits?
however, Disney had a lot of other content to back it
Yeah,
up.
they did.
When
Yeah,
you bought Disney, and my point is they're behaving like a mature streaming service.
Yep.
When there's other shows to watch, I don't mind if I've got to wait a week to watch an episode of a show, but it'd be
Yeah.
nice to have some other shows that were coming out at the same time that I could also get involved with.
Yeah, no, absolutely,
I don't.
absolutely.
I'm definitely not one of those people that screens all content now. I'm quite happy to wait for the episodes of Angels of Death, but in all seriousness, it does feel more like it would have been better suited to a feature-length film, and then them to release other smaller episodes of other things around that.
Yeah,
That's
I
kind of,
think a lot of that is just how we consume our media
of
now.
course, yes.
Like for instance, I'll put parallels to The Walking Dead. So when I was watching The Walking Dead before, I was watching it weekly, one episode a week,
Hmm.
and a lot of those episodes were absolutely terrible episodes. However, when I've got back onto Walking Dead now, I've kind of watched several episodes at once, and it looks so much better. Um, but once again, we call it a streaming service. It's not a streaming
No.
service as such. It's got different layers to it. And so, like Captain Jack, I think you mentioned about White Dwarf stuff in there.
Yes.
Now, yeah, you got all White Dwarves in there. Now, the only issue I found looking at some of those White Dwarves, more the Vision ones, is it's kind of split over 2 pages sometimes. So it's maybe you've got to be on a proper big screen to
No,
take
it
it
doesn't
in.
make any difference.
No, okay, in that case, it's not
No.
great, unfortunately. I was kind of like going through, I was like, oh, let's look at this, and I was like, no, I don't like it. I don't
But
like
that's a fair point. Obviously, because I'm in the IT field, I know that I can, for instance, watching Angels of Death, I know I can hit keys on the keyboard to make it go full screen in my web browser. But
Yeah,
there's not even a full screen option on the
watch it on
player
your
there.
TV.
Yeah,
I've watched it. I just downloaded the
yeah,
app on my TV, and I've been watching
which
it
is
on
fine,
there.
which is good. But
Yeah, it's quite nice.
it's little things they've missed, in my opinion, that actually make people more annoyed. And ultimately, again, what I said, I'm not really talking about the lack of potential content. I think there's going to be tons of stuff on there soon, and I think it's going to be fantastic. But I think having because at the moment it looks like obviously they're banking a lot of their viewing on the Angels of Death series at the moment, because that's the only thing they've been releasing on a weekly basis so far.
Yeah,
And yeah, that is one show on a fairly expensive streaming service. That's kind of where I was going with this.
yeah. I think, yeah, they've got to build up a back catalogue, which they will
Exactly.
do over time. The problem is that we all saw a big shiny model and wanted to get the big shiny
Yeah.
model, and then we
Well,
all
I think
just
they had
jumped
to do
straight
that
on the
because they got to get people to stay.
yeah, yeah,
If they don't offer things, people aren't going to stay at $4.99 a month for a release every week. It's not. I don't think some people would be turned off by that. I mean, not some people won't. I'm not going to say everyone's like that, but it would have been nice to see some of the other stuff they've been toting on alongside the Angels of Death. A couple of things a week would have been much better than just one.
yeah.
And obviously, I know they've
Absolutely.
got the paint tutorials and all the other things, and they're great. But again, they're very short videos for something which they've hyped up a lot. And I honestly, I've liked everything I've watched on it so far. I actually really like um I think is it Louise who does the painting tutorials, isn't it? I think it's Louise Sugden. That's the one. I was trying to remember her name. But she's done some very good. I've actually been quite inspired by her black painting tutorial.
Yeah, I
Which
watched
came out,
that.
which
Yeah.
actually I didn't even think about doing some of the stuff that she was doing. And I thought, oh, that's really quite a cool way of doing black, and I'm probably going to try it out on some of my Templar models for a bit of a change.
I was actually going to tell you about that,
Yeah.
but I'd assumed you were going to watch it.
Yes, no,
But
no, I had a good watch because it was quite interesting how she used the blues instead of traditional
yeah,
kind of maybe off whites that I might used to do highlighting, and I was like, oh, actually that works a lot better. I mean, it's color theory, obviously, but my color theory is not brilliant in some situations. So some of my choices have been quite poor. But I've been trying to educate myself more, and actually, in fact, I even found the facial uh, the facial one she did with the having all the faces done on the model
yep.
in such high detail was really really cool. That'll come up later, by the way. Um, however, I think we've done enough on Warhammer Plus. Shall we
Oh,
talk about our
yeah.
entries? Um,
Let's talk about that.
Now, obviously, guys, the entries for the last challenge we did, I left open, and probably I think it was about an hour ago. I closed the voting on it, and I must say I was very impressed with the response we got. So thank you all so much for voting on people's models. And I think maybe I haven't actually discussed this with you yet, Don, but I was going to see what you guys thought. Perhaps while we're doing the challenges this time now, maybe you and me do our usual breakdown
Yep.
and,
And let
and
the
vote
people
on vote what we
do.
like, and then we'll do a poll after that so that you guys can kind of compare on our opinions, which I thought would be quite a nice thing to do. And also, it gets you all involved a bit more on a regular basis because I really enjoyed seeing your feedback. And there was a comment on maybe a higher voting threshold of up to 10, and yeah, I will change it to 10 because I kind of got your point. Having out of 5 is actually quite difficult, especially if you had a lot of models to vote on. It doesn't give a lot of gradient for people's painting ability, I think.
Absolutely, yeah. No, I
Yeah,
completely agree with that. And
yeah,
yeah, no, absolutely about letting the guys pick the winners, because it is tough for us, to be honest. So no, it was brilliant. But before we get started, people in the
yes,
chat, can you write down, if you remember, which models do you think myself and Tom painted in
yes.
the entry thing? Now, I know a couple of you may know what the answer is. So,
Yeah,
you
I've
can,
had a couple of people guess it already, but I've been very good not saying.
yeah, so type it, have a quick look at the models. Tom, have you got the link? Chuck it in there
I can chuck the
quickly.
link in there. Give me 1 second.
Yeah. And write down which models you think myself and Tom did. Obviously, if you entered a model in there, you can take that one out your.
And obviously, you're all going to see who, when you click on this link, you're also going to see who the current winner is of the challenge.
Yep.
But we'll announce it either way because it's nice to
Some
have a
people may not
shout out,
want to click on a link.
which is fair enough. And I think we will do a top 3 because I think it was so close in the top 3. I think it's only fair. I
I
mean,
tell you what, the top 3 was very interesting to watch.
yes.
There was one that sat at number 1 for a very long time,
Mm.
and I checked it today, and then boof, number 2 had taken
But if you
over.
look at the percentage on it, it's such a small margin, which is
Yeah,
very
yeah, that's
impressive.
why we need to up it for next
Yeah.
time.
So anyway, I assume you've all now had a little guess. So let's. I'll tell you. Should we get? Okay, if you guys want to put in chat who you think that I painted, which ones I painted, put it in chat now. Don't worry if you don't want it. It's just a little thing. I'm going to tell you anyway. What do you think I painted in that challenge? Let's see.
If anyone gets it. Was someone saying the custard creams?
Custard creams. I reckon someone was waiting. Daryl went with the obliterators.
That was, yeah, go with obliterators. Okay, okay.
Fair enough. Fair enough. See if anyone else has a. We'll give it a couple of seconds, just a couple of minutes, or maybe not minutes. That's quite a long time. Minutes are actually much longer than I think when you're streaming.
Jack's gone with
Spider.
spider. Yep.
And Azrael's went with the horror. Okay. Well, I will reveal to you now, everyone, that I painted the custodes, of which I was very disappointed with my placing in this particular challenge, and I'm going to up my game. To be fair, I maybe took this a bit too lightly. And I did them rather quickly. And in fact, I found myself being much more interested in painting the base than the actual custodes in the end. However, it was quite a nice interest. I do actually have some custodes left to do. Basically, I had them left over from the Prospero set, I think it was. And I thought, you know what, I've these been sitting there thinking, it was basically for me, it was a choice between doing them or the Sisters Silence. That was my other option. Probably shouldn't have mentioned that. Vindication. Yes, Sam. I know you guessed the other day, and I didn't say a word about it. He was right on the money the other day, but I didn't say a sausage. Okay, then everyone. So, what did everyone think that Dom painted? That's the next choice. Go, go, go.
Go, go. Except for Daryl. Daryl, you cannot enter this one because you physically saw which model I painted. You are banned from entering this
No
one.
props for you, sir.
Yeah. Yeah, Daryl popped over and he's like, I knew that was your one.
So, Azrael says number 8. I'll have a quick look at what that one was. 8 was the Obliterators.
I guess beforehand.
No, doesn't count, Daryl. Doesn't work that way. You shouldn't have gone over to see Dom, you see. I don't care if he invited you around for a Crusade game, whatever, you know. Any more guesses before we reveal?
Nice, 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 nice.
Obviously, I'm going to let you reveal this, Tom. Lee thought the
Okay.
Tech Marie, but he only had a quick look apparently.
Okay, so drum roll, please. It was the blue horror.
Yes.
Yeah, so I had that sitting around for a while.
Now, Dom.
Now, initially,
Yeah.
I wasn't going to do the
Don't
blue
tell them
horror.
what you were going to paint though.
Yeah, no,
Because you
no,
could
no
use
one
that.
knows
Because
yet.
I think the
Yeah.
other model you had it planned looks really, really cool, and I think you should save it.
The Dwarf Admiral. Yeah, Captain Jack, that was on my to-do one, but I thought that would be too obvious, so I had to pick one. Anyway, so I had a plan. I started painting one, and then half the paints I wanted had dried up, so I couldn't do anything. I couldn't do it justice, which was a bit of a shame, to be honest. But yeah, the blue horror was me. I started painting it a little while ago and just left it on the side. So then I was like, oh, I'm going to finish this off. And to be fair, I really enjoyed painting him. He's a cool little dude. I have also got a few other Zinch demons, so at some point I might expand it and get some others. But I'm really happy how he turned out, to be honest. So yes, little Zinch dude was mine. I've got loads of random models, so I was trying to pick a model that you guys wouldn't, we go, that's one of Dobbs. So yeah, and because of things said in the chat before, I also try and avoid not red.
Yes. Well, that's also why I picked the one I did, because it was so far removed from what I've been doing recently. I thought it would give a less of a clue, and I think maybe we'll join in with a few more of these in the future. We won't do the next one, I don't think, but I think maybe we'll start adding our entries in maybe a bit more regularly, perhaps, but only for the public vote, maybe. I don't know.
Yeah, exactly, and I think yeah, we'll maybe
Sneak some in.
ones. Yeah. So anyway, ladies and gentlemen, now we all had an amazing amount of entries, and hopefully we've got some newcomers as well to our Discord group. So
Yes.
welcome to them if they.
And actually, before we do move on, if you do want to join our Discord,
Yep.
I'm going to put a link in now.
Cool. Nice one.
While you're doing the next bit, Dom.
Yep, amazing amount of entries. So thank you everybody that took part. Now we're going to up our game slightly, people, because I've got confidence in all of you, mainly you.
Don't announce what the next thing is. We haven't announced the winner yet.
Oh yeah. Oh jeez.
Oh,
all right. Now we're gonna do the next one, and then we'll come back to the winner because this is more exciting than that. So we are now going to be concentrating on. I'm calling this one Face Off. So we're gonna go with painting faces on models. So this can be a flesh face, it could be a helmed face, it could be a face on a bit of armor somewhere, it could be like, some sort of Emperor's Children weird thing going on here. But a face plate, a face, a facey face. Face is the theme. So do a face and send it in. Any type of face.
And basically for some inspiration, just while we're talking about this. I'm sorry, Dom. Just.
I don't think I don't know. Okay. You're up to something, Tom. Yeah, this is what we want. Yeah. Well, as a fail, you can paint a model with a helm, but obviously, I would implore you to try and make an elaborate helm with something on there to make it stand out from the crowd. But yes, it can be a mask, a helmed head, a fleshy head, any sort of head. But yeah.
I mean, if you want to take inspiration from Mr. Cage there as well.
The third host tonight is Nicolas Cage.
Do you know what? I might make him a little corner, Dom, just for you.
Yeah.
Just like a little.
Tom, if you mirror that around, and then you can put that over your Black Templar face, you can.
I mean.
Do a bit of Photoshop. There you go. Yes. Mate, you've got to cut that out. That would be good.
I will. I'll tell you what. I will do a proper job on it later for you. All right. I will. Just we'll have it as a GIF as well, or something for the for the channel as a painful. Just for those who don't know, Dom has an unnatural obsession with Nicolas Cage. Admittedly, he has converted me slightly to Mr. Cage. I do like his movies. However, Dom does love his movies.
They're all good. He hasn't made a bad movie ever.
I will turn him off for now, though, just to keep it to this professionalism. Something like that, yeah. Um,
So what we're going to say. So what we're going to do, we'll put the category up on our Discord, people, so people who aren't watching tonight can also take part. But you've got 2 weeks to paint a face.
Yeah. I mean,
Easy
obviously, if
peasy.
you want to do a model and then put a nice face on that model, that's brilliant. If you want to take a scan of Nicolas Cage's face and then paint that on a Space Marine with that same face, that would be amazing. And you may get extra points for that. I can't, I mean, some people might give extra points.
Won't go against you.
No,
Won't go against you in any way.
No.
So what you can do as well is if you literally just want to glue a head on a stick and paint the head, go for it. But it's just kind of building that confidence, that skill set up to be able to do a face or a head and be happy with it.
Yes. And obviously this doesn't not just human faces. I mean, obviously you could do a robotic face. Is that fair enough?
Face, you can do anything. Yeah, like I said, you could do an armored face, you could do a helm or a mask.
But just a cut above what a normal kind of like slap some paint on it kind of helm would be. Something very ornate would be very cool to see. Don't be intimidated by it. Get involved. There's no, there is no right or wrong way of painting something. And in all seriousness, the whole point of this is that you guys challenge yourselves slightly with something that's a bit maybe out of your comfort zone, or that there's no judgment, as you know from both of us. Okay, none. So don't feel like you can't do it or whatever. And then we will do our usual breakdown in a couple of weeks where we sit down and go through them, but we'll also put a poll up so you guys can also compare what we've shown. Because
Absolutely.
I think that's actually a nice way of doing it, because then you kind of get to see. Yes. And anyway, would you like to announce the winner of the poll?
The winner of the poll. Right. Okay. Are you ready, ladies and gentlemen?
Do you want me to get shall I get a picture up ready to go for this?
Yeah, go for it.
Yeah, because we know which one.
Yeah,
just so we can show it one last time.
All right,
so just give me 1 second, and let me get that.
I'm gonna fill this out a bit, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls. Now we've waited a week. We've waited for this exact moment, and I believe the best person has won this week. Would you be right on that one, Tom?
I think, in all seriousness, it was very close.
Very
so we'll be going through the other two near the top ones in a second.
Absolutely.
But,
so, ladies and gentlemen, the winner of the last painting challenge was Captain Jack.
So well done. Honestly, you got the. But in all seriousness, that is a fantastic model and a paint job on it. However, there was points like 0.23 in the top three as well. So, and basically the other. But this is a lovely model, isn't it?
It's beautiful. I love this one. It's so nice. So yeah, well done. Absolutely brilliant. And should we go through the other ones very quickly as well? The other two.
The other two. I can get them up on the screen. Give me 2 seconds. I think the other one was it from Ceres, the second one? Is that correct?
Did have to just double check that was Captain Jack, by the way.
I'm pretty sure it was Jack.
Yeah, number 2 was Ceres.
Which I've just put up on the screen, which was the one of the new AOS miniatures, which is also a stunning miniature, I might add.
Absolutely.
Some of the ones that are coming out really make me want to actually start collecting some of those Marmies. That is just a fantastic model, but that was really, really well done as well.
And number 3.
And I know this person because he's in chat. He was actually at my wedding as well. And he was fairly surprised by where he ended up in the placings, actually. Yeah. This is Felpire with one of his Necron. Is it the Psychomancer? Or is it the other Cryomancer or something? I can't remember.
No, yeah, it's one of the Mancers.
Yeah.
Plasmamancer. Yeah, Plasmancer.
Yeah.
One of the Mancer brothers. Well done to Felpire as well. Yeah, number 3, and very new to entering models to these challenges. So
hopefully you carry on.
Yeah, so
I mean, Necrons don't have the best faces, but
don't they? They're quite endearing. So well done everybody that took part in this. Really, really impressive. So thank you very much. So clap.
Indeed. Well done, everyone, and thank you so much for taking part. Please carry on. Even if you feel intimidated by it, whatever it is, anything you paint, I promise you, improves your ability.
100%. Yeah, no, I completely agree with that.
And Jack is saying apparently the Stormcast was so much better, but thank you for the votes. Well, ultimately you got voted up there, so I mean,
What I found quite interesting is some of the votes got less votes, but got a higher score, which I
yes,
quite liked. I was like, oh, this is quite interesting. It makes it quite interesting. So we're going to do out of 10, are we, this next time round?
I think so. Yes, I I was pondering about also making signing in being required, but I didn't want to force people to have to sign up something that maybe they didn't want to do. Um, the only reason I was doing that is just to prevent any sneaky double voting because it was possible. Not that I did that. I always check these things because if one of you guys had got an extremely large more amount of votes than on
Yeah.
average, I would have questioned
400 5-point
yeah,
votes.
exactly. I would have questioned the legitimacy of the actual result, which I
But
was
of
trying to
course,
avoid. So
Tom,
what
we
I'll do is, yeah,
only get decent people voting for these, so
yeah,
we're pretty good. And essentially, it's all done in good fun. There's
indeed.
no actual reward
Prize.
as such.
No, it's
Bit of
more
kudos.
just a bit of chat and it's just exploring what you guys are capable of, which in my opinion is some pretty good paintwork. So please keep it up.
Yeah, well done, boys and girls. How's your corny stuff going, Tom? Have you
Well,
done
I
much?
can show you what I've done so far. We have this chap
Oh, well done.
who's doing suitably red, and I'm currently on my third
Simply red.
one of these guys, the letters.
Oh,
So
cool. How's everyone else's hobby going? Yeah, I've just slapped a bit of paint on this guy. Just got him finished off.
oh, fancy. He looks very
Yeah,
cool, by the way. I like your
yeah.
green mouth there.
Ah. Do, 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 do.
But yeah, the other thing we can have a little chat about is what we're doing at the weekend.
Oh, yeah, exactly. Let's get a bit of input from the guys about matching ups and stuff. Let's see what they reckon.
Do you want me to go through the format, or do you want to do it? Or
Yeah, you go through the format, Tom. I'm
okay,
literally applying paint at the moment.
what?
Working on a Necron Warriors. No, no, sorry, Philip. I've been there. You can put up with that.
Painting Slay Death Guard. Anyway, yeah. So Daniel Ashton says painting Slay Death Guard characters for any of my 14k. Nice. That is a very sizable collection. You keep that up. It's very fun when you get up to the high, when you get over the 10,000 mark, in my opinion, because you start then trying to flesh out an army that you've got so much for already.
Absolutely.
Mystico is apparently
Absolutely.
making progress, although next time I should try not to do something. So obviously mine branch out a bit. That's fair. And then Jack is Wizard is going well, just having Mooch on an entry. Oh, fair enough. Good. Well, you have a look around, see what you can do. Um, so anyway, while you are filling out any more information there, well, so this weekend, myself, Dom, and also Daryl, who is in chat, or he was in chat. I assume he's still there somewhere, lurking. We are all going to a team event, which is a slightly different format to normal. Essentially, the way this team event works is that you sign up on BCP as a team, so there's three of us. Each one of us can't have an army from the same codex in any way, shape, or form. That includes supplement codexes. So, for instance, I'm bringing Black Templars. Someone else couldn't have bought like Blood Angels or Space Marines or something like that because it all comes from the same core codex. 2,000 points each, and then obviously normally you'd have a kind of a Swiss pairing system where you just get automatically drawn against one-on-ones. However, now it's team on team for the first one, and then when your team's been drawn against another team, you then roll off to see who becomes the attacker or the defender. The attacker then places their kind of a list down, and the defender matches it with the list. So you kind of have a little bit of control depending on if you pick the attacker or the defender. Then the attacker then gets to pick which matchups for the next two lists out of your team. So you can sort of say, I'm going to play this against that, and the other guy says, I'll play against that. And then the defender gets a bit more control over the mission, what they're going to be playing against. So they can say, well, we're going to play whatever one of the GT missions is going to be against that list on this table, etc., etc. And then they then get to pick the defenders then get to pick the table they're going to play on in certain circumstances as well. So it's quite an interesting back and forth. You have a team captain that kind of makes these decisions, which is unfortunately me in this particular case. I don't know how that happened. I think Dom's just
Democracy, Tom.
testing me.
Democracy.
Um,
You were voted in.
we know who we're playing in our first matchups as well, as in the first teams we're playing. So
Well, yeah. Do you want to say what armies we're playing
well, yeah, who are
ourselves?
you playing, Dom?
I will be playing my necrons. It's
Your
very
Necrons.
infantry heavy. That's my necrons. We're doing Novak as well as our dynasty.
Excellent.
So I'm just closing the door. So I am listening and I am talking. I'm
You're
just
not a bit chilly, are you?
walking. I'm walking off camera for a minute. I saw a mosquito, Tom.
Oh, they're
Don't really want to get bitten.
equally as bad. And then myself, I'll be playing my Black Templars, of which I think I posted a picture on a couple of weeks ago with the list I was going to take, which is very similar to the list I've been playing quite a bit recently. I made a few tweaks, trying out a couple of new units to try them out. And Daryl, who is in chat, is going to be playing his Death Guard. I believe you have Monterey in your list. I didn't check your list submission in the end, I must admit. I should probably have another look at that. Being the captain, all probably good notes in the armies. And for our first team matchups, we've drawn Harlequins, Grey Knights, and Space Wolves.
Ooh.
So, the question is, if you had to choose who you'd face up against, so if you had one of our lists to play against any of those three, who would you match up against who? And any reasons why? We're not fishing for advice, I promise. No, we really are.
But essentially, yeah.
Please help me. I have to
Yeah.
make these decisions myself.
I mean, Tom actually doesn't know what any of our armies contain. He's just going for it.
Just winging it. Necrons, eh? You robots, they can't die, can they?
Yeah. We'll be fine.
Yeah. But obviously,
So what do
we're
you
having
reckon,
fun.
guys? How would you match these three different armies up against each other? So we have Death Guard. On one team, we've got Death Guard, we've got Black Templars and Necrons. And on the other team, we've got Custodes, Space Wolves,
Not Custodes.
and...
Harlequins.
Was it Custodes? Oh, Harlequins, Grey Knights.
Yes.
And Space Wolves.
So interested to see your thoughts and how you would play it. I mean, the interesting thing is, some of this is pointless in the discussion because essentially, if you roll as the attacker, you don't get to choose who's going to play your first list you put down because the defender gets to pick the first list they play against. So.
Yeah, but essentially, if we're the defender and they put down one...
You see, that's interesting, Dave. I had a very different opinion on this in the end after reviewing the lists, which I'll talk about in a second.
Yeah, see what else everyone else says here.
It's mainly because Daryl actually was able to give us a little bit of an insight into the Harlequins because he does play Eldar himself. Interesting. Just as I felt. Because obviously, I've just given the factions. I haven't really told what's in the list, so it's probably a bit of an unfair kind of ask, really, isn't it? I suppose.
Yeah, I mean, this isn't going to be too much of a
No.
overly tactical, but I'd like to know from your previous experience what you guys would recommend. Maybe you play one of those factions. Maybe you're playing us at the weekend and you want to lead us.
You're sitting in chat and you're just
making notes.
I see. He plays Black
Messaging
Templars, right? Well, anyway, as there doesn't seem to be much more coming down there. Initially, I actually almost agreed with the BT versus Grey Knights matchup until I saw what was in the Harlequins list, and Daryl pointed out about Haywire. There is so much Haywire in this Harlequin list. I think it would be more damaging than the psychic damage that the Grey Knights could do, because obviously I still get Haywire causes mortal wounds, so I get a lot more saves than maybe Daryl and Dominic's lists would do in comparison. But yeah, my matchup choice was between either Grey Knights or the Harlequin list personally. That, and like I said, Mr. Blue, I completely agree. But with the amount of Haywire in the other list, I think actually the Harlequin list is more damaging from a mortal wound perspective. Because I think there was I lost track of how many bloody Star Weavers and Sky Weavers. Is it Star Weavers and Sky Weavers? I think it is. It's both of them, wasn't it? remember correctly.
I do not know which ones, because it's a different opponent that Daryl played against.
So it's an interesting, interesting kind of quandary, really. But I understand why. Okay, yeah, 3 units of Sky is all maxed out with Haywire, so I think that's 3 units of 3, if I remember correctly. It's not just 3 of them. Haywire do max mortal wounds against vehicles. I mean, that's an interesting fact as well, because I've only got 2 vehicles. I've got 3 vehicles in my army actually.
I have one in my list.
And I think we didn't want to put the necrons against the Harlequins because your mobility is much lower. But obviously we could counter that by getting a decent mission choice.
Exactly. Yeah. So it's yeah, like you said, it's down to the board as well and the mission. Obviously your force in particular favors the mortal wound output rather than myself or Daryl's.
Well, at least I get a save of some description against it. That's the point. So, but yeah, it's an interesting thing. We were looking forward to it because we haven't played this particular format before either. It reminds me very much of how we were thinking of going down and doing the Council of War at Warhammer World once upon a time.
Yeah, I think they're all roughly along the same kind of
Yeah.
lines. Obviously, a few differences here and there.
But yeah, and obviously we don't know who the second match is up is going to be because it does depend on how you rank in the game. So we can't really make an opinion on what we'd be playing after that because it's kind of irrelevant. I probably should read up on the missions really as well. Dom's just putting all the pressure on me. This is because he had to get up and do a speech at my wedding. He just get me back.
Yeah, that will get him. That'll get him good. Get to be a captain at a 40k event. You never see that one coming, will he?
But yeah, I take it you're looking forward to the games at the weekend, though, Dom, and everything. So
Indeed, I am. I think we were talking a little bit before, but we haven't been able to make a great deal of content at the moment for the channel. However, we've played a lot of tournamenty games.
what wouldn't I want to focus on BTs and Necrons? Well, my Black Templars, if I'm totally honest, I don't feel bad for Black Templars against any of those 3 opponents personally. I feel I have a puncher's chance against all of them, literally, because that's how my list plays. I think there's a chance, against all of them. I think I would feel, in all seriousness, as much as I was saying I play the Harlequins, I think I feel like I don't know Harlequins well enough to avoid getting completely destroyed by them in some way because I don't understand the army list that very well.
They're just so fragile, but they're hurting so much.
Exactly. I don't know what you would dread the most on.
What with the current matchup?
Yes.
I would probably Grey Knights, I think. Mainly because of Codex creep in comparison. Both mortal wounds are not going to be friendly to my
You've got no
Necrons.
psychic denial, have you?
Got no psychic denial in any shape on this list, so that could be quite brutal. But yeah, it's more the volume of fire they can produce and the mortal wound output, where Harlequins can do a lot of wounds, but are a tiny bit more fragile. So that's the reason I prefer that. However, if it was any army at the moment, it'd probably be Thousand Suns that I would not want to be playing against. For exactly what I said about Grey Knights, but I think it'd be a lot worse.
Well, I mean, Grey Knights are more geared towards shutting down psychic prowess.
Yeah, exactly.
So
Exactly. And that's what my concern would be if they suddenly go up against another team and it's a Thousand Knight player. I'd be like, oh, a Thousand Suns. And I'd be like, oh no, here we go. So yeah, that would be the one I'd dread to play against at the moment. Anything Space Marine though, to be fair,
you
I
know
know
it.
how they
It's because you're more familiar with it.
Yeah, but yeah, still Thousand Suns could be horrible. But do I get a reanimation? No. Oh, okay. Yeah, the good point, Mr. Blue. Good point. Spacefall's on there. I've played Spacefalls a fair few times now.
Really?
So
Who have you played against with them?
Well, I played a couple of people actually, not just David Holland. So I'm very familiar with their tricks, so I'm not that concerned with it. Um, and yeah, mortal wound output is not particularly too much to worry about.
Very
Do,
well.
do, do, do. But yeah, it's very interesting way of playing. I'm looking forward to it.
It kind of takes that you have a bit more control over your destiny in certain situations, which is the interesting part about it, in my opinion. You know, because you can sort of say, well, this list is very much designed to counter this style of list, so you can do that if you have the option, which I think is great. But you know, equally, you have the opposite of that true as well. The other team can pit you against something you really don't want to play against. You know, so it's a fairly interesting way of doing it.
Yeah, absolutely. I would have personally loved to try and do an army that wasn't Necrons. I played my guard a little while ago. That was quite fun. But it's just trying to get something that works in ninth edition, which is a bit of a shame, really.
For God, that's very difficult.
Yeah, it's hard. It's hard work.
And your chaos. So sorry.
Yeah, let's not go
So
into there
sorry.
again. No. We're doing a stream about me moaning,
I know
okay?
you've done very well today.
I have. Painting my little mauler thing here. I mean, there's no point really.
We've got here yeah, okay. Since Death Guard has any list for psychic powers, they shouldn't face grey I kind of agree with that on certain levels. Uh, so when you send face picture of a model, hard to get a good picture. Well,
Yeah.
it is hard, but I'm sure you guys can manage.
Yeah, there's lots of guides out there as well about taking pictures of models, so you can
Mhm.
check those out. I think Games Workshop's even got one, so you can check it out. It's quite
As
good.
far as eagerly awaiting our results on the battlefield. Well, hopefully we can do something like that. Maybe we can get Daryl round. We can have a sit down. Maybe
Yeah,
dissect our
do each game,
yeah. So Daryl,
game
bring
by
your
game.
notebook. We have our first guest on the channel.
Yeah, yeah. We can all be in the same place together.
Yeah, we could do it some way.
I could have you all here if you want.
Well,
Get
as
nice little
long as your
setup. Yeah, that'd be
microphone
good.
is good enough to pick us all up.
Ah, definitely, will be good. Less cars driving past. Well, hopefully less cars driving past. I'd be very concerned if there's a car driving through my garden.
I mean, it can be arranged.
Yeah, true. Smash! Just park it up. No, Tom.
I'll get all different coloured pens out. Okay, Daryl's getting his teacher on.
Yeah, absolutely. Good times. Good times.
We'll get you a little blackboard as well, Daryl.
I'm hoping tonight to be able to put some wash on this bad boy and get it sorted out.
I don't think I'm going to have a chance to do that, unfortunately. I've got to do a second coat and let it all dry, so I'm just literally finishing the 10th bloodletter now with the first coat.
Oh, nice.
But it's not bad for an hour's work, to be fair.
No, and bloodletters are pretty straightforward. I think I've got 80 bloodletters in my army.
Yeah, I must admit, I actually... it's interesting, because this is another discussion I'm going to start here. You can tell the age of this particular kit in the fact that it has no numbers on it.
Yep. Absolutely.
Because everything is so like, this goes here, this goes here, this goes here. And then I did my plague bearers, and they do have numbers on, and they have certain ways you have to put them together. It's very interesting how you see like this, then progress to slightly more complex, but it also shows you the age of the Chaos Demon models.
Yeah, I was thinking earlier, and this isn't chaos related, and it might get some people a bit upset. Elder Guardians. How old is that kit? Does anyone know how old the Elder Guardian kit?
I think all the aspect royals are pretty old.
Yeah, but just thinking of Guardians in general.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know a lot of the
sorry.
aspect.
Yeah, sorry.
No. Yeah, I mean,
Oh,
how old are...
Daryl.
Oh, there you go. Nice one, Ezra. Yeah, 1990s.
Sounds about right.
No. We're not talking about Warlocks. No one cares about Warlocks. We're talking about Guardians. Can I have a quick look at actually.
Yeah, look it up.
Yeah, so well, I don't think I can find a date off the top of my head, but when did Elder Guardians come out? because the other 2007 box.
Okay.
But I think that might just be a bit of a reboxing thing, to be honest. I think it's even older than that. I might be wrong. Anyway, if anyone actually knows, I'm just interested to know, because I was just thinking about that kit earlier and I was like, oh dear, what's happened there?
Just after the Orcs.
Maybe it is about 2007.
But Lee, the Orcs came out this year.
Oh, they've definitely dropped the ball in my Guardians then. That'll do. The guy on Work Experience just sculpted these new Guardians. There you go, just let him have that. His elder players are going to moan anyway.
They're all hoity-toity elves.
Yeah.
Screw 'em.
Yeah.
Young converting Die Avengers from Sigmar kits. Well, okay. Right, I'm going to let this all dry for a bit. So that is me done for tonight.
Oh! Yeah. One thing I did watch earlier. Have you watched the Auspex tactic on the it's like a little marine thing he released?
Oh, the one with the aggressors thing.
Yeah.
No, I haven't watched it. I saw it come up my feed this morning, and I didn't quite have time to get round to viewing it. But I take it it's a piss take, is it?
Absolute must watch.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
I will take a look. When I looked, I went, "Nah, this is a joke."
Yeah, no, it is very funny.
Photoshop master is at work
Yeah.
here.
And even I was kind of like, "Oh, mate, don't be so salty about Marines." God, they're not that bad. But yeah, no, it's very funny. Made me laugh.
That's good. I'm glad to see you laughing about models, not crying about them.
Yeah, exactly. I like to try and mix things up. Do something a bit different.
You released it for chaos.
Why have we got to be like that, Tom?
Oh, sorry, I should have done that a lot better, actually. Oh, there's no releases for chaos, Tom. Oh, please, please. Shut up, heretic! Sorry, I've gone too far.
Like a Punch and Judy show.
Oh dear. No, but yeah. I've clearly had too much champagne tonight.
100% you have. Unbelievable, Thomas.
Sorry. I'm so sorry. But no, yes, we all agree that Chaos needs to come out soon.
Well, I'm just doing a poll at the moment in the chat there, Tom.
Oh, you are.
Yeah, and I think we got a lot of support for our. Yes, come on. About
to be honest, we should do that poll every week until it hits 100%.
It's so salty. I can taste him from here. He's making me thirsty.
Okay, I'm embracing my streaming ability here now.
Ability.
Well, you know. Yeah, this will do. Apologies, everyone, obviously, for my getting carried away here, but it's just the way I roll sometimes.
Tom's champagne lifestyle.
Champagne lifestyle.
He just loves the champagne. He's always at it.
I mean, there we go. Sorted.
That is a disgustingly horrible picture, Thomas.
Oh dear. I'm sorry, Dom.
Can't see my disappointed face.
No, I reckon you've got a lolly behind there. Your salty lick stick.
Maybe you should come and find out.
Oh, okay. We've gone.
There you go. Look, see, I'm not. Yeah, I can't unsee it. I can't unsee it.
But yes, we're on the poll. I think the poll has pretty much, you know.
Yeah. I think there's a lot of Chaos players that feel my pain.
So we'll end that one there, and I don't know. Let's see who voted the polls and stuff. I don't know.
It's 11 votes, and we've got 13 people watching. I didn't vote. Maybe I should vote.
Too late.
Oh,
I figured it. Yeah, if you vote, you know. There you go.
There we go.
I think. I mean, I think people like your saltiness.
Yeah. I think it's a genuine passion that sometimes we don't get with other YouTube channels.
No.
I think they're very quick to swap to the different metas.
However, tonight you have given me some ideas for some new emoticons for the channel.
Are you as salty as Dom? And yeah, I don't think anyone's as salty as me, to be honest.
It's okay. You have the right. In my opinion, you actually, even though it's the way it is, you have the right to be.
Yeah, I just want to play the faction I love, Tom.
Exactly. That is ultimately it. And he says to me, when I complain about Templars, but it's the same thing with me.
Yeah, I know.
I don't.
Yeah.
I know I've had Space Marine codexes, but
when we get a new supplement? Oh no, or my new character models.
I can't even complain about it now because they're coming.
Not a resculpt. Ah, no. Or a new
another named character for me. I have no named characters.
So dumb boy.
The tears are real, people.
Yeah.
Yeah. I feel slightly unfair that I can't let Dom have some control over doing some of the animation work that I'm doing tonight, because I'm sure he would be doing something similar for me. You're
self-lucky, mate. That I haven't got any control.
But yes, but we digress. It's ultimately, I think both of us have a very passionate connection with our chosen forces, and it is very frustrating when years go by and everyone else seems to be getting something and you don't. It is, unfortunately, it is a petty form of jealousy and green-eyed monster, in all seriousness, and also a sense that this is my faction, it's the best, I want what I want for it, but
yeah,
in my opinion, as much as I love my Templars, I'm so happy on getting stuff, I still feel Chaos has fallen so far behind the curve on the whole thing. I honestly understand people's frustration, so I'm not gonna dig in too much into. I get it.
No. I mean, it's kind of, it's all in good fun. And like I said, there are factions in a worse place than Chaos. Like we said about Elder Guardians, a bit of a pain in it, really. And I do like being salty to a point because it is relatively funny for myself to hear me rant.
Yes.
But at the same time, I'm not gonna kind of hate on GW the whole time because, like I said about Warhammer Plus, they do some good stuff as well.
Of course. No, honestly, I said overall, I like the idea of the service and everything like that. I just feel it just feels a little bit lackluster in some levels.
Yes. Yeah.
But,
I'm tempted to kind of start ranting about YouTubers, but I'm not sure that's a good place to be going.
I think,
to be honest,
at the moment would be a great time to do it because you've got the perfect face for it.
Have you put another face on me? Yeah, nice. That's a good face, to be honest. Look at that noble face.
So
he could lead an Imperium, I reckon.
He was quite salty.
Yeah, you'll have nothing to moan about after next year.
I
hope not.
Yeah, I actually agree with that statement as well. I think next year there's going to be so much chaos stuff. I think they're going to fill every single. Oh, that's a bad way of saying it. They're going to fill every single gap, not hole, with chaos.
Just slide that chaos in. Slide the chaos into that gap. That's it. Sliding in. Well, I'm going to rant a little bit about YouTubers.
Go on then. I'm
Well,
listening.
the negativity does get to me sometimes.
But hang on, whoa. Before you go off on this one, you're about to
Yes.
contribute to exactly what you're about to complain about.
No. I'm complaining about YouTubers. I'm not complaining about Games
Oh,
Workshop.
wait, but still negativity.
Negativity towards the hobby that we all love.
Okay, there you go. That's better. I was just clarifying because the way you said it, you're like just YouTubers' negativity in general. You know, that's quite a that is out there as well. I will admit.
I don't think we really class as YouTubers, and I'm not. I don't think
we don't do enough.
You know, I know, obviously, we're streaming on YouTube, but we're not. We don't do this as a full-time thing, and realistic expectations and all that. But it annoys me that you see all these thumbnails up from different channels going on about how GW are false advertising, or they're doing this, and GW are taking your money, etc., etc. And I'm like, oh, come on, enough with the clickbait, people. It's terrible. We're all sorry, Adam, age is catching up here. We're all invested in some part of this hobby, and yet, and we can be critical, and we can be constructively critical. However, a lot of these people just try and just bring everyone down with them, and it's quite hard going. And yeah, I am guilty of being salty sometimes, and I do it
but
in a
Dom, you do it in a
humorous
funny
way.
way.
Yeah, and
I'm
these
sorry,
people
it's a very big
try
difference.
to
There's some people that go like this level of seriousness.
Yeah.
I think it's one of those things that maybe we don't take our opinions that seriously. We have a good joke about it, but ultimately there are some people that try and ram that opinion down your throat and try and make it like, this is really bad for the hobby. They're
just lodged up their own arse a lot of the times. That they're just like, you have to listen to me because I am such and such with X amount of 1,000 followers, and I'm like, you're literally just saying this to get more followers.
Yes.
There's no substance behind what you're saying, and I just get frustrated by it.
No, so mate, we say, honestly, me and Dom have conversations about this in private a lot, and we don't tend to maybe voice it as much as we should. Maybe we should do. Maybe we should become the anti, kind of negativity. Anti-negativity. Because we. Here, Mr. Lee's probably going to say something here because I think he may agree with this. It's annoying that some channels that I have recently gotten into have last minute just been pumping out. Yes, that is essentially what we kind of getting at. We are, in my opinion, generally quite positive people, which is actually something that a lot of these people also say just before they launch into an extreme hate-filled rant on something that's they want you to believe is gospel for them, and for you to follow their channel. Ultimately, I think over the last maybe 3 or 4 months, I think I've slowly, gradually pulled my way from watching from certain channels that I just not disagree with it, but they don't give me any joy to watch anymore.
That's a great point.
Yeah,
that is a brilliant point. That life is so short, and we spend so much time in, both socially in this hobby.
Yeah.
So many of my friends are in the hobby, and people online are chatting. We've got a Discord group about it. We do YouTube content, Instagram, blah blah blah, and I use this hobby as a form of escapism from my day-to-day life. We've all got different stresses and pressures, etc., to different degrees. And for suddenly, the thing that you're using to have some sort of joy and escapism, for it to be poisoned by negativity through people that you may watch online, it's like, come on, guys, let's bring it up.
I'm going to say this may be an unpopular opinion, but okay, you play this hobby, people complain. I think some of the main things that people complain about this hobby is obviously cost, and a lot of the kind of like IP based stuff, all this kind of stuff that we've spoken about it, and we've had a rant about it now and then as well. But ultimately, this is an expensive hobby. I don't think you disagree with that.
No, I would agree.
I wouldn't play it if I couldn't afford it.
Yeah.
Okay, and ultimately, yes, I may buy an expensive model now and then, but I'll enjoy it, and I won't let people also tell me that, oh, you spent money at GW, you should go and buy it from ChinaCast, or you should go and buy it from some other place, because ultimately I still believe that if you're buying something for a hobby, you should support the hobby that you're buying it, and even if it's a third party stockist. I'm not going to say Goblin Gaming because that's not even the best example, although I love them
think
as a
we need to.
company. But there's a no, but you know my point. There's local
Yeah.
people around here that also
Yeah.
benefit from you going in and buying stuff from them,
Mhm.
and you have those options. But Mr. Blue, and that's fair. But the thing is, you've made a choice to do that, which is great, and that's my point. You're not complaining about it to other people. You've said to yourself, I want to do this instead, and you're going to go and do it. There's some people that still play this hobby and complain about it on their own channels while playing it, which I find so ludicrous. If you don't like something, do not do it anymore. It's a
Yeah.
fairly simple premise, and that is something that
Or if you find
I'm a
yourself,
firm believer in, because I know people that I personally that have stopped playing the hobby because they got so frustrated with what they viewed as, oh, they're just money grabbing, blah 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 blah, and I'm like, all it means is you can't afford to play it, and you don't, and you either don't want to. Well, actually, saying that, that's not quite true. I mean, obviously, some people choose not to afford to play it because they feel it's too expensive based off opinion. Yeah.
yeah,
Whereas ultimately, if you're doing a hobby, you should only play the hobby if you can afford it anyway. Really, you know, it's
there's so many ways
yeah.
of playing this and taking
Exactly. That
part.
you can get on it to many different levels. I don't want to come
Yeah.
across as someone who's saying, "Oh, I've got the money, I can play it." That's not really what I'm trying to get at. It's the more that you play at a level of the hobby. Like for instance, if you can't play 40k because you can't get a big army, you could technically play some of the other areas of the Games Workshop collection that would still suit the
Kill team, you could do
yeah
crusade kind of thing. It's all like the hobby is so massive that you don't have to be, and that's something that I'd like to get across on this a little bit more. That we've got different, everyone's got different incomes coming in.
yeah
You go to some podcasts, for instance, like independent characters. I'm not calling them out, but I'm saying that their presenters, when they were going, I think they've stopped now. When they're
they have at the moment. Yeah.
they had a ridiculous, like some of them ridiculous amount of income, and I can't relate to that through my hobby expenditure. When they're
No.
saying, "Oh, this commission painted my Titan, and I've got my massive force here and this army here," and I'm like, "Okay, well, in the grand scheme of things, I don't particularly buy many models.
Yeah.
I
I think
normally
that's a fair
sell
point.
things to create
Yeah.
more hobby stuff. And we're all in different places. Well, our lives are all in different places. Some people have large disposable income and can afford to have these things. Other people have a smaller income and have to recycle their funds to get different models. And
But that
go
that
on
that that
eBay
door is
rather
actually
than
open to people
buying it.
because there's so much second-hand stuff on the market. I think
Yeah,
Lee was saying that you can easily play bargain 40k. You're quite right. And actually, some of the people that play bargain 40k in their way of like buying and recycling models and repainting them, I some of the stuff they put off is bloody impressive as well. I've bought my fair share of eBay based models, and you have a go at them, and some people turn their nose up at it, and you're like, well, actually, ultimately, if you're buying something that you like, does it really matter where it came from?
yeah.
Probably not really.
Absolutely,
Yeah.
absolutely, completely agree. It's not all about who spent the most, or if
No,
it's just enjoying it, and if it's a form of escapism, it makes you happy. You know,
that's a fair point, Jack,
who?
as well. Sorry.
No, that's cool.
That's a very fair point. You don't have to even play it. Yeah. I've met some people that collect armies for the pure love of it. You'll probably remember John, someone that we played.
Hmm.
We obviously, ironically, we played a game of 40k. However, I think his love was much more in the collecting of the models and the paint jobs that he was. I mean, admittedly, he got a lot of it commissioned, to be fair,
Yeah,
but that was
the
his
collecting
enjoyment.
aspect.
He was much more of a collector, and he had an orc army that literally filled a room probably as big as the one I'm sitting in, if not a little bit bigger. It was huge, but it was such a pleasure to see that collection and how much joy it brought him. And ultimately, I know he'd spent probably thousands of pounds on it, but I didn't. Some people judge you for that, and I think that's an unfair thing to do in this hobby, just because either because you can be at both ends of the scales. You can either be able to afford a few models and paint them really well, or you can afford loads of models and paint them really well. Um, you can throw money at this hobby. You can throw a small amount of money at this hobby, but ultimately there's actually both ends of the scale that you can work at.
Yeah,
And
I
that's
think
yeah.
the main point to take away is that as long as it brings you happiness,
Mm,
do it. Do it. It
yeah,
doesn't matter what you're buying or where you're buying it from, or the volume of buying. And even if you're playing or you're not playing, if you're just reading a Horus Heresy book, awesome. They're amazing books. We've discussed that many times. Or if you've just picked up some snap fit Marines and you want to try a paint scheme,
exactly.
awesome. Or get those models out the attic that have been there since you were a kid. The
Yeah.
old snap fit Space Marine.
I've still got Empire models sitting in a box in my cupboard, which I could potentially still have a crack at if I wanted to, and I wouldn't feel bad about it. And
Yeah.
ultimately, I have met people through this hobby that have made me feel quite bad about buying a Forge Roll model
Mm.
because their view is that you shouldn't buy it from Forge Roll, it's just too expensive, and it's you shouldn't waste your money on it. And then but then you look at it and you go, well, it's kind of my money, and I wanted to get it from the source. If that makes sense.
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, you probably know some people I'm talking about, Dom, in this particular case. I'm not going to name names, but we have met people that were very much like, I want that model from Forge Roll, but I'm not going to go to Forge Roll to buy it. I'm going to buy it from somewhere else. And then 5 minutes around the corner, they normally get rid of the model straight after. So
Yeah. But once again, it's about what makes you happy, though, isn't
exactly,
it?
if you
If they
enjoy
want to
something,
have
you
that
shouldn't be
model,
made to feel guilty for doing that. That's my
no.
point.
Yeah.
Um,
That's all about enjoying the hobby and making the most of it, really.
and
And I
yes,
like to think, even we talk about in our Discord group, we're all very positive about the hobby. We
mm,
enjoy it, but we will, if there's to be criticism, let's have criticism about it. And it's because we love the hobby. There we go.
that we
And I think you'll find, like, overall for the channel, we don't put any ridiculous clickbait things on there. We
it's
might
actually
put
one
some.
thing we've really tried to avoid. We
Mm,
have the odd funny one, but it's normally out of humour rather than trying to get necessarily raging amount of views because it never works for us anyway because we're just not that kind of. I think we don't work that way. I think that's the thing we can't. I wouldn't want to say sell out because that's probably not quite fair, but maybe it is. I don't know.
I think we just don't. That's not our game.
We
That's
don't
not
think
what we
about it
want to
that
do.
way. I think I think we went through. I mean, in all
A
seriousness, we went.
casual war gamer, I think
Yeah,
we
yeah,
should be
exactly.
called. The casual war gamers.
We went through a phase of like going, we're going to get loads of views. I think obviously for the channel and everything like that. But now we just come to maybe enjoy it more than maybe worry about making a living off it. I think
Yeah.
that's probably a good way of looking at it. I mean, obviously, if you could do it, it's fantastic. But I think we're both adult enough to know that to do that, you have to commit so much time and effort to it that maybe it doesn't become a hobby anymore.
Well, yeah. Well, I mean, yeah. Of course, it doesn't if you're making money out of it.
Exactly.
To that point that you're making a living. But and like Adam said, it's not just James Workshop. Most
No. I
hobbies cost money. Um,
mean, computer
yeah. It's how
gaming
much
is an
you want to play on
example.
it.
I spend
Yeah.
thousands on computer games, so I can't really. Yeah, it's anything you get into as a hobby is expensive. But that's the point. It's a hobby, and you shouldn't be doing it if you can't afford it on a level that you're comfortable with. I think that's probably a better way of saying it.
Hmm.
Jack says, I came into Warhammer from a modelling background, and some of the kits you can buy from the likes of Tamiya, Revel are jaw dropping. Then you look at the model
Yeah.
manufacturing cost. Yes. Okay.
I
Yeah.
think I posted
Yeah.
a
A
picture
while, quite a while ago.
on our
Yeah.
Facebook about that.
Yes.
And there's down here there's like a little miniature railway place for you can take your kids and they can go on a little train or whatever. And they've got a shop that sells train supplies. And there was like a model train bicycle
Yes.
that you
Oh
literally
God.
just no use whatsoever. So essentially terrain, and it was like
Aesthetics. Pure
15 pounds
aesthetics.
for a tiny bicycle
Yeah.
that doesn't even that nothing. No use for anything.
Can't even roll a
And I was
dice
like,
for it.
yeah, and I was like, GW's not too bad after all.
Oh, there you go. I think Miss Lee's actually just come straight round to your point because he just said, remember
Yeah,
the bikes, Dom. There you go.
exactly. Yeah,
Yeah.
maybe it was two bikes. Who
And
knows?
also, bringing Mr. Lee up here, Lee is a prime example of someone who I would say is a very kind of pure collector hobbyist, I think. He doesn't play a lot of games, but he's made some absolutely fantastic models so I remember he had an orc Tau, an orc army which had been purely geared around looting Tau based vehicles, props, and all that kind of stuff. And I remember the conversion that he did that looked fantastic. And that's kind of, there was some pure joy in that when he did that. And obviously seeing that army on the field, regardless of whether the painted level, Lee, sometimes I know your painting's not as speedy as some of the others, but some of the stuff you've done has been absolutely fantastic. So I hope you don't mind me saying. But some of your conversions have been brilliant. 'Cause that's one thing I know you do really, really well, and you get a lot of joy out of. And that's kind of, and honestly, you can do that just by popping on eBay and buying a few different kits and then chopping the crap out of them. So, so it's not even. So it's interesting. There's so many ways to play this hobby, and I think you should do whatever makes you feel happy, regardless of what the naysayers say.
Yeah, exactly. I went on a bit of a
It's okay.
tangent. We're quite good. We're quite good at going on a tangent.
We
now.
are. We like a good tangent. It kind of focuses our mind on. We have something to talk about for a change. Because obviously we come in here heavily scripted every time we come on chat. And for me, unfortunately, it's if I've had a couple of glasses, I can get going, as Dom knows.
Yeah, and the champagne lifestyle.
It only lasts the week after the wedding, and it's all gone. It's okay.
Always on the champers, old Tom.
I'll bring it down for the breakfast on Sunday, mate.
Yeah, there we go. Champagne breakfast. So we roll with Black Toad Studios. I don't know where all the money goes.
No. Oh, another bottle of champagne, sir.
Yeah.
Why are you wearing a
tuxedo?
Oh, hello, Andy. Oh, thank you very much, my friend. Thank you. Very kind of you. It's been a good week so far. I can't really complain.
That's the spirit. That's what we're getting across, Tom. Yeah. No complaining. It's all positive.
No, it's been. I think when you come with this, when you get to acceptance of a hobby level you're happy with, that's when you can enjoy it more. I think. Don't try and keep up with other people. Do what you find's fun. Don't sweat other people, especially other channels that maybe rag on lots of aspects of the hobby. That's their way of getting views, clickbait, that kind of stuff, which is fair enough. If that's what they want to do, I'm not even going to get negative at them, because ultimately, especially if they're making a living off it, they have to. That's how they generate their views. Unfortunately.
Yeah, absolutely.
As with anything, negativity always tends to breed more interaction and sort of commentary, I think, just in general, because people tend to react to inflammatory stuff much more than positive things, I think, sometimes. Especially in things where people have something to aim at, like Games Workshop.
Yeah, absolutely.
If they get properly upset, because ultimately they're the most vocal people, the people that are the most upset.
Yeah, exactly. And negativity just breeds more negativity. It's so much easier to.
You realise we can't make any more negative videos now. We've got to be really careful.
Oh no, we can to a degree. We just put a comical twist to it.
Okay, I'll make sure I do some more animation work. Yeah.
No, well, it's too much like text to.
Don says we can do much more critical work.
Look at that bolt gun. That's such a good bolt gun.
Actually, not bad. Look at that. There we go.
Yeah. Look at my loincloth. Look at it. What about you, Tom? Let's have a look at you.
Oh, you haven't seen the full. Yeah, I suppose people haven't seen the full models before. Actually, if I'm sticking up on there, these are from John Scriven, who's in my opinion quite a very talented little artist, actually. So, unfortunately, normally his little logo is normally hidden because we hide them down below the screen. But these are the first things we had done properly of us ourselves being in.
Are you going to get Primarisized?
Do you know what? It might be not a bad shout, but I assume he's still doing commission work.
Yeah, maybe you should get.
Maybe we should get some all done.
Yeah,
you could get. Oh, never mind.
You're just going to look a bit more big and swollen.
I mean, I can sort that out. Just there you go. There you go. Does that help?
Yeah. Hello, little Chaos Marine.
I would hit you, but you're so far near the ground.
Yeah. One swipe on your little one wound and you're gone. And then he bought himself a knight. They are very cool. Knight kits are one of my favourite kits to make.
Yeah, actually, I love the knight kit, and I don't even care how expensive it is. It's the one model that I wouldn't mind buying more of. I know it's really bad because I have 5. I don't need any. Yeah. The only thing I need to get knight-wise is one of the bigger knights. That's basically what I want to get from them. And actually, rather interesting enough, I actually really like the little armigers. I think they're such a cool little kit. They're really simple to
Yep.
put together, and they're really simple to paint,
Mm,
in my opinion.
absolutely.
So that's one reason I kind of think they're great.
Knights are pretty cool.
However, anyway, I'm afraid I think we may have to start to wrap this
Yeah. Yeah.
monstrosity
Tom
of a
needs to
stream
go.
up because we've actually, odd enough, we seem to have gone over 9:30, which is actually quite rare for us.
I'll moan about positivity, or not being positive is yeah, it's taken us over the edge. Weird.
But yes. Anyway, I think that's a good place to end on a positive note that we like to be positive about negative people. No, that's not
No,
right. We'd
we're
like to be
negative about
negatively positive about negative people.
negative about negative people and
Okay.
positive about positive people.
Build
Weird.
positivity, lower negativity.
Yeah, everyone go out and do something nice. Just do something nice for someone tomorrow.
Yeah.
You think?
I think, as I say, pass it on.
Yeah. Thank you very much.
Oh, Dave wants to know about the lottery. Have we got any lottery?
Oh no, we've got no lottery, Dave. Sorry.
Oh, you better not win tonight.
Sorry.
You'll be devastated.
Well, it's all random numbers anyway. We've
Okay,
probably got
that's
the right
good.
numbers. Look on.
But
Sorry,
anyway, I have been Tom, and this has been.
Oh, Dom!
And we are both from Black Toe Studios, and it's been an absolutely pleasure talking to you all tonight. And we will see you, hopefully, on the next stream. So take care, everyone.
Bye.
And good night. Bye-bye.
Bye.